to our second event of mentorWIT. I'm glad everyone's here. So I'll pass it on to Brittany, who'll take it off.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Like Meghna said, thank you so much for being here for our second mentorWIT Connection event. Where I'm pleased to welcome those of you who are joining us again and those who are new to our community. So through the donation tickets for this event, we were able to raise $198 for Girls Who Code. So thank you so much to those of you who were able to donate for that cause. We have an exciting event planned for this evening. We're going to start with a keynote from Meghna Singh, move into our one-on-one virtual connection segment, and we're going to end with a giveaway that we'll draw for at the end of the event. So we hope you guys stick around for that. We hope you find this event engaging and insightful, and we look forward to connecting with as many of you as we can tonight. Before we get started, I just wanted to add a reminder, if you guys have any thoughts or questions throughout the event, feel free to use the chat or Q&A function in your bottom toolbar. And of course, if you have any technical difficulties, just post a note in the chat and one of our mentorWIT team members will reach out and help. So I'd like to start by giving a bit of background on mentorWIT. We are an Edmonton-based group for women in technology that provides a safe community to build relationships and explore mentorship through these connection events. We're an inclusive group, so we welcome all those who share our passion of empowering and elevating women in technology. Feel free to post and share our events on LinkedIn and Instagram using hashtag mentorWIT. And I'm sure we're all eager to get this event started. So with that, it is my pleasure to be introducing our keynote speaker, Meghna Singh. So Meghna, if you just want to turn your camera on. I have the privilege of working very closely with Meghna at Aimco. She is a fierce and fearless leader and is passionate about developing women in technology. So please join me in a virtual welcome to Meghna, and you can add a note in the chat and welcome her if you like. And with that, Meghna, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Brittany. And thank you all for being here. I'm going to start it off by telling you a little bit of a story, setting stage. So picture this. You receive an invite from your boss for an urgent huddle. She wants to get together with you to discuss an opportunity. And when you meet, she presents you with a role with a new team. It is a role that has to do with something that you have never done before. You have no experience in what is required. The role involves running a team that is bigger than your entire current department. It involves running a budget that is orders of magnitude bigger than anything that you have run independently before. The peer group in that new role has a solid 10 to 15 years of experience over you. This new role, this new opportunity has a high chance of failure and a high visibility if you fail. You're not trained for this role. You might not even be able to list all the skills that are required to be successful in the role. On the flip side, your current role is great. You do it well. You don't need to work too hard to be successful at what you do today. And your boss tells you, take a day to think it over. What do you think your response is going to be? I know most of you are thinking, what's that got to do with a keynote, Meghna? I thought we were going to talk about mindset. No. The truth is, this narrative that I've just described to you about an opportunity coming to you in your career and the decision that you have to take and what choices you make is based on your mindset. And the decision you take is going to change the trajectory of your career. And it is a fact, a lot of women will be presented with these opportunities in their career and they will walk away from them. We will talk ourselves into, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm good at what I do. Why don't I stick to it? Stay with something that is familiar, that I know how to do well. The fear of failure will make us walk away from a challenge. And that is the mindset that I wanted to challenge today. My name is Meghna Singh, and I am passionate about developing the next generation of women leaders. If you walk away with only 3 things from this talk, just 3, let it be these 3 things. 1, skills can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others. And that is the growth mindset, that you weren't born with an innate set of skills, you can develop them. 2, and very important, don't fall prey to, well, I already have it. I always have. You have to be honest with yourself. The growth mindset isn't something you're born with. You're going to have to work for it. And third is learn to recognize those triggers, those decision moments in your life when you are either going to take the challenge or you're going to walk away from it. And through the rest of the talk, I'm going to get into more details about all 3 of those 3 things that you need to consider. I'm going to start with maybe discussing and giving you some background about this idea called mindset. Where did it come from? What does it mean? What's a fixed versus a growth mindset? So back in 2006, a Stanford researcher, psychologist, Carol Dweck, published research where she explored 2 sets of mindsets, a fixed versus a growth. And through examples, she articulated in her research why a growth mindset is associated with feeling empowered in what you do in your life, of persisting against setbacks, welcoming challenges, and all of those things together attribute to more personal success in your life. Let's define those 2 a little bit more, a fixed mindset, growth mindset. So what is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is when people believe that their talents are an innate gift. You're born with it. You're good at certain things and you're not so good at other things. And what you tend to do is you tend to stick to things that you know you can do. And things that are outside of that comfort zone, you avoid them. For people with a fixed mindset, effort is a bad thing. Because if you need to work at something, at achieving something, you're not good at it and you give up easily. In a desire to look smart, you don't take on challenges because what happens if you failed? People would know that you didn't know how to do these things. And that failure, that fear of people judging is a risk you don't want to take. If you're given feedback, you either ignore it or you take it personally. And because you think you are born with a limited set of skills or how good you can be, you are threatened by the success of others. Why is it that they can do more when I can't? So that's the fixed mindset. What's the growth mindset? A growth mindset is when individuals believe that their talents can be developed. Again, by working hard, there's no shortcuts to success. By good strategies. So if you're trying something and it's not working out, change up your strategy. And third, by taking input from others. And a mentorship program of finding mentors is a good way to get that input from others. People with a growth mindset, worry less about looking smart, but they put more energy into learning. They thrive on challenge. Because when they have mastered something that they have never done before, the mastery in itself becomes a reward. And once you've got that positive feedback loop going, you want to do more difficult things. People with a growth mindset see effort as the path to mastery. But here's the trap. So this is the second point that I wanted to make about being honest with yourself. And it is based on my own personal experience, so I'm not making stuff up. I was introduced to the book Mindset through a coaching training at AIMGO. I bought it for myself, and I ended up reading it over a vacation in Mexico. And it's a very easy read, so if you haven't picked up the book yet, I highly recommend it. About halfway through the book, the author makes a point. She sort of says that people with a fixed mindset who are reading this book will walk away with confirmation that they are obviously of the growth mindset. You know, they already have it. They always had. Now, I had been sitting on the beach, next to my trusty cool drink as a companion, doing just that. In my head, I always had a growth mindset. I always have. And I was reading this book to pick up pointers to teach my kids. As I read through the point that the author had made, I stopped and reflected. All of this effort in trying to pick up a book and read and learn, and yet I was missing the biggest point of it. I was fooling myself into believing I already knew this. So I went back to the beginning of the book. And this time, I read it recognizing and reflecting on all the times when I had demonstrated a fixed mindset. I also reflected on all the times when I had picked up a growth mindset and actually implemented that. And I could recognize the success and the benefits that I had reaped by having a growth mindset. That story that I introduced at the beginning of this talk, the opportunity that is presented with someone is ill-equipped for, that was me back in 2014. I was 6 years into my second maternity leave, and I was invited to a lunch by my mentor who said, come have lunch with me. I have a great opportunity for you. And as he walked me through the role, the team, the challenges, I was ill-equipped to deal with any of those. And I'll be honest, my first reaction was, oh my God, why would I set myself up for that? When I fail, not if, when I fail, people will know that she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm lucky. I took the chance, I took the role, and I made my share of mistakes. I said the wrong things at the wrong time. I missed those leading indicators that as a leader of the team, I should have picked up and resolved. But the honest truth is, all of those mistakes made me learn an awful lot. And that experience opened up so many other doors for me following in my career, that choice where I decided that I was going to take the challenge, that if I didn't know something, I was going to learn it, that has changed the trajectory of my career. So what's the bottom line? Be honest with yourself. Because the truth is, everyone is actually a mix of a fixed and a growth mindset. You have to watch for those decision moments where you're going to ask yourself, which mindset am I going to apply here? And you have to consciously develop a habit to ask yourself that question. Here are 3 things that I watch for in my life, and I'm hoping as I share this that maybe some of that resonates with you. First one, when I am given an opportunity, this virtual public speaking engagement is one such opportunity. Before I turn it down, I always ask myself, am I doing that because I think it's hard? Because I think it is a challenge and I'm ill-equipped to deal with it. I don't have the skills. And at that time, I have a mantra in my head that I've developed for myself, which is, what I don't know, I can figure out. Am I capable of learning? Yes, I am. So why will I not take this opportunity? The second thing I watch for, my triggers, is I watch for my response when I am receiving feedback. Am I getting defensive about the feedback? Am I able to deconstruct the constructive feedback from stuff that I may ignore and move on? And why that is important is because with the right mindset, the growth mindset, I know that the ability to process that criticism means that I can get better at what I'm doing, which ultimately means that I'm going to be able to achieve more. So how I receive feedback is the second trigger I watch for. The third one, which is important as well, is how am I dealing with failure? Just like everybody else that's probably on this call right now, I have had plenty of setbacks as well, both in your personal and my professional life. There are times when I walk away for the rest of the day because I'm frustrated and upset that things didn't go the way that I planned them to. But the growth mindset, or asking myself that question, that am I approaching this with the right mindset, means that I come back to the task the next day. I have figured out a way to stay in the game, to persist. And that is important. So back to those 3 key points. 1, skills can be developed. Growth over fixed. Pick growth. Always pick the growth mindset. 2, be honest with yourself. You don't already have it. You have to work at it. The more you work at it, the more conscious that feedback is going to be, the more it becomes a habit, and maybe you don't need to think about it as much. 3rd, reflect on those triggers, those key decision moments for yourself. Find that mantra that you're going to chant back to yourself every time you come to that fork in your path. Which one, which way, which mind process am I going to apply to this? If possible, and I know the group is giving out some copies of this book tonight, read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's not a big book, and it is genuinely a very easy read. It's going to have an impact on your professional career, and if you have children or people you mentor, trust me, it is going to have an impact on how you coach them as well. Lastly, I will, as you walk away and you network at this event today, ask yourself, what is something you really want to achieve in your career? What's holding you back? Is it your mindset? Keep growing, everyone. Thank you, Brittany.
Hello. Thank you, Meghna. That was excellent. That was very inspiring and very insightful. Big virtual round of applause. I do have a question for you before I get into another question that is asked here. What's your experience with mentorship?
Thank you, Diana. And I apologize. I didn't notice till now. I think my kids and my husband are back, so I apologize for the noise in the background. My experience with mentorship hasn't just been finding mentors in men and women. It's been a mix of both, and I appreciate input from both the group of people. I do want to flip it around a little bit, and I actually asked Diana to put this question to me because I wanted to poke at this a little bit. We all of us, we have moved the onus to the mentees, the people who want to be mentored, to go find mentors for themselves. And you often look for networking events, and how do I do that? Do I do it on LinkedIn and social network, whatever? I want to flip that around to say, everybody who is on this call today, who are you mentoring? Because if you are a college student, you should be mentoring somebody in high school. If you are an entry-level individual in your career, you should be mentoring somebody in high school, in university. I want to mentor people who are growing in their careers as well. My own mentor at AIMCO, bless her, she is in this call today mentoring me, and it wasn't, she volunteered. So if we can turn the dialogue around a little bit, and instead of people looking and having to work hard at finding mentors, why don't we mentor them? Why don't we find opportunities to mentor others? I think that'll make the job easier.
That's great. That's awesome. And we have another question here. What's the difference between a coach and a mentor? Are they the same?
See, I find that a pedantic question, so I will apologize. I think a mentor will sometimes be your coach. Your coach will sometimes be your mentor. So I don't draw that line. What I find is, if you have somebody you trust that you can take your problems to, who you think is going to give you an honest opinion, either from experience or from other places, you call them a coach, you call them a mentor, you call them a sponsor. But this is somebody who is looking out for your benefit. That's all I care about. I'm not too worried about the title assigned to it.
Mm-hmm. And we have another question here. What's your advice with dealing with your own mistakes in the moment that they happen?
So one big thing I have learned is early on in my career, I would make the mistake. I would not have enough time or the mental capacity to reflect on the mistake, right? So you'd go from one mistake to the next, some successes. As I have either matured as an individual or matured in my career, I take the time to find those pockets of, 10, 15 minutes after I think something has gone wrong to sit back and say, oh, what could I have done different? As opposed to jumping from one fire to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And that little pause after you think you've made a mistake or you think things could have gone better, that reflection is key to growth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we have another great question from Shannon. She said, I'd like to hear your thoughts more on the process of getting really honest with yourself and seeing your own blind spots.
I think my approach has been, in one regard, when you read these books, when you think about your own successes, it's easy to be your own cheerleader and sort of say, yeah, I've got it. I forcibly ask myself, well, if I was in somebody else's shoes and I had to pick something that didn't go right, what would that be? Maybe taking that other perspective helps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. But the fun part is if you're honest with yourself, you're not really opening up your flaws to anybody else but yourself. So you can live with that.
That's true. That's great. Well, we got one more here. This is a great one. How do you take imposter syndrome and turn that into a growth mindset? How do you overcome that frame of mind?
It's very interesting. I still struggle with it. When Brittany asked me to do this call and I saw notes going out on LinkedIn about come listen to an inspiring speech, the first thought through my head was, oh God, A, I'm not inspiring. B, why would anybody want to come listen to me? That imposter syndrome. I'm lucky that when I was saying that to my mentor, she stopped me right away and said, stop doing that. So if you can't stop yourself, that the idea of, the imposter syndrome, find that trusted advisor, that mentor who will do it for you. Because mine did it for me. And the moment she said it, it was yeah, Meghna, stop it. You got this.
That's great. And I'm glad you did overcome that because I did find this very inspiring and it was a great opportunity to hear you speak. So thank you so much for taking that chance on yourself and joining us tonight.